Run it, baby. Ricky Cheese, baby!
Hey guys, it's your boy Ricky Cheese with another episode of Grinding for Greatness. Today we've got a special show. The house is packed and it's chock full of champions. We've got 3 state champs, Joe Lowe, Elijah Lowe, and Gabby Tedesco. You'll hear Joe talk about his own journey, Elijah's run at a state title, and how Gabby Tedesco played an integral part in Elijah's success. I'll be speaking with Gabby and Eli about their relationship, Gabby becoming a part of the Lowe family, and how they're going to handle going away to different colleges. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And remember, keep grinding for great. Joe, what's going on tonight? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, Ricky, man. Everything's good. How's it going?
Everything's going good, man. I thought I was going to be a little late for the show. I got out of work a little bit late, but I got here at home a lot quicker than I thought I would. So everything went as scheduled, man. I'm really excited to have you on the show, Joe. So I just want to thank you first for coming on. I know you got a house full of kids and a busy life. So thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. I want to just start at the very beginning, which would start with you back in high school. So we talked a little bit earlier before we went on, and you told me that you're from Lakeland High School. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2003. I was a Lakeland Dreadnought. The Lake Gibson crosstown rivals. So way back in the day, Lakeland was a little bit competitive with Lake Gibson. It's a different story. It's a different story now.
Yeah, they always have good football. Do they still have good football at Lakeland High School?
Yeah, in fact, that's how I got started with wrestling.
Okay.
I think 1999. I played football my whole life, and I thought I was going to be Coach Castle, Bill Castles, the legend of Lakeland Dreadnoughts. I was going to be his next starting quarterback. Actually, my brother was, and he ended up playing D1 football. But long story short, Coach Brian Abden, he sought me out as a freshman, and he said, Joe, why don't you join the wrestling team? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to hit anybody in the back with chairs and jump off a rope, so I'm not going to do that. So I ended up going out, and I went out for the wrestling team as a freshman in high school. And I lost my wrestle off. I lost to I think a junior, and I just did terrible my freshman year in wrestling. I was 9. I was 9-19 my freshman year in high school, and
Wow.
out of the 9 wins, 5 of those were forfeits. Yeah, it was terrible.
What weight class? What weight?
I was 152, but I was 152 soaking wet.
Yeah.
I was just I was 6'2", 152 pounds, just a tall string bean.
So at what point during your high school career did it click and you said, okay, I think I can do something with this?
Well, honestly, it was meeting up with my my best friend today. His name is Jason Troller. He ended up coaching at Lakeland when I went off to college. And we went everywhere, man. We went Southeast regionals. We went to Western regionals. And I tell you what, if Brandon had a tournament on a Saturday, I was there. My very last, and he kept statistics on everything. My very last match of high school was my 500th match. He would that included every freestyle tournament. I would go 2 weight classes in Brandon. I would go 2 styles in Brandon, and I'd knock out 8 to 15 matches, and I would just grind and grind. So going into my sophomore year, I ended up going from 9-19 to 25-8 as a sophomore. I never qualified for state until I was a junior. And then I just kept getting better and kept wrestling. And that's all I did was because of Jason Troller and traveling the country and just wrestling, man, just wrestling. And that's all we did was train. We'd run the lake right here in Lakeland, Lake Hollingsworth every day. Everything we did together. And I just give a big shout out to Jason because he got me on the right path.
Oh, for sure, man. The year-round wrestling is so damn important. I tell people that all the time. There's no such thing as a part-time wrestler, or let me take that back. There's no such thing as a good part-time wrestler. If you want to be good or competitive or state champ or state placer, I really do believe you got to wrestle all year round, and that's why the freestyle and Greco is so important. Now, was Abden your wrestling coach in high school?
He was.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
it was crazy, and he's the goat, man. He's a legend. He was doing like back in the day. He was doing the USA Florida teams, and like all my coaches and all my clinics and all my camps I went to. Like nobody can uh, match up with Coach Abden because he's so technical. He
Yeah.
knows so much, and I don't know. Yeah, he was my high school head coach, and between him and Jason, I was like, man, so many opportunities, and I took those opportunities. And I ran with them.
Yeah, apparently you did because your senior year you were a state champion, correct?
Yeah, I didn't lose a match my senior year, so I went from 9-19 with 5 forfeits as a freshman to going 53-0 as a senior. But what really got me looked at was I went out to the Super 32, and
Mm,
I ended up taking fourth at the Super 32. And
that's
a couple
amazing.
colleges were like, "Man, he's got some potential." So then I took a recruiting trip to NC State after that. I actually
Yeah.
committed. I committed to NC State,
Who
but I
was the
got
coach back then? It wasn't still Bobby Guzzo, was it?
no, it wasn't him. I don't remember the name, but he was so mad because I committed and then I ended up going to UNC Greensboro. And so like later that year I had to wrestle their starter and I can see it, man. I could see it in his eyes. He really wanted me to lose to their starter. But guess what? I didn't lose their starter. I wrestled a
So
guy named Rick Brownlee. He won it a couple times up in North Carolina and I smoked him.
wow. So what made you decommit and go to UNC Pembroke? What was it? What was
No,
it
I went
that
to
made you?
UNC Greensboro.
Oh, Greensboro. I'm sorry, Greensboro. Yeah. So what made you decide to go to Greensboro?
Honestly, like, well, more money. That was a big factor.
Okay, that's huge.
And the family, man, like I get there and Coach Tom Shiflett was the head coach. Man, he just came from Hofstra, and he just like, man, he sold me like a car salesman. He was like they took me out, the family, my teammates. They had a really good recruiting class. Um, we took second at the SoCon, like my sophomore year. Like we were just the brotherhood. I just like there's so many like cool, good things at UNC Greensboro that I was like, I jumped on it. I jumped on it, and I had an opportunity to start as a freshman. I won my
Yeah.
wrestle off, and I started off 4 years. I started as a freshman at a Division I college.
Wow. Did you All American?
No, no, but I did win the conference 3 times.
SoCon
So
champ?
I was a SoCon champ 3 times.
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome.
I won it. I took fourth as a freshman at 184. So I
That's
went from
incredible.
160 in high school and I wrestled 184 in college as a freshman. I got my head thumped. Like those guys were cutting from 200
Oh yeah.
and throwing me right on my neck. Took a beating my freshman year, but as a sophomore, junior, senior, um, I don't know. Like I won the conference. I ended up my senior year. I ended up going pretty deep at the NCAA's. Got 100 wins, Division 100 wins. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, listen, Joe, not too many people on this planet can claim they've got 100 Division 1 wrestling wins. Not too many.
You know what's so wild though is like I had Elijah when I was a sophomore in college, and
Oh, wow.
we're traveling, and I'm trying to be a father, and I'm taking Elijah to my tournaments with my wife, and I'm wrestling Ben Askren, I'm wrestling Tyron Woodley, I'm wrestling Johnny Hendricks, and Elijah's a baby. He's 1, 2 years old in the corner watching me get my head thumped by these national champs. You know.
Wow. That makes it even that much more impressive to get 100 victories while trying to raise a child.
Yeah.
dude, that's incredible. I did not know that.
Yeah. So
Holy cow.
back it up a little bit. So my wife, we've been married 18 years as of yesterday,
God bless
and
you. Congratulations.
and so she left Missouri to go live with her brother, and her brother was my teammate. So Elijah's uncle, my brother-in-law, was a four-time Georgia State finalist, NHSCA national champion,
Wow.
and he was my teammate. So Elijah's got it on both sides. Like he's a
Yeah.
national champion, four-time Georgia finalist, two-time Georgia State champ, and she goes to live with her brother, my teammate, and here comes Elijah. Here comes Elijah. So like I said, we were married. We've been married 18 years as of yesterday.
Man, congratulations. That is an unbelievable story. I love it, man. That is awesome. So now, how many do you have total right now?
Four kids, and Elijah's obviously the oldest. He's 18. We have
Yep.
Isaac. Isaac is
Coming up.
he'll be a sophomore 2 weeks. They start school in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So he'll be a sophomore. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be real
He
good.
is going to be good.
He's a
Yep.
hammer, man.
Absolutely.
He's a hammer. He doesn't like he's not shy to hit big moves. He'll throw a headlock. Sometimes it'll cost him. And I like, you got to wrestle smart, Isaac. You got to wrestle smart. But he's not like, I love the offense and the guts that comes from him. And then I have Caitlin. Caitlin, she's 13. She did wrestle for a minute, but then I'm not gonna push her, so she doesn't wrestle right now. And then we have a
Okay.
little baby. I call her baby, but she's 5. She's gonna start kindergarten in 2 weeks. Her name is Ayla.
Very, very cool. Yeah, she's a cutie. I see her on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I follow just to keep up. So let me jump a little forward now. Elijah, he gets to the state tournament his senior year. Opposite side is a kid that's beaten him what 5-6 times prior
Yeah.
over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And what was his name again? I forgot.
Roman Lermer.
Yeah, Roman Lermer. Tough kid, multiple time state champ. What do you say to Elijah prior to that match? Like, the kid's lost to him 6 times. He's never beaten him. He's got to have a little bit of, shell shock because of that. What do you say to him to get him ready for that match, if anything?
Honestly, like, they say like 90% of wrestling's mental, and him wrestling Roman Lermer at the knockout tournament, and Elijah's down. Elijah's down pretty big. He's almost down like by major, and he comes back and he takes Roman down, and he turns him, and he gets near fall. Elijah ends up losing. Elijah loses by a point, maybe 2 points, a couple points. I don't know. I don't remember. But that mental aspect changes the whole game plan.
Oh, yeah.
So like, we really prepared like a month prior to the state tournament. We knew that obviously Roman was going to be his competition, and like we watched a ton of video. We knew exactly what his strengths were, what we had to stop, and we got to wrestle him at the garage. So we're gonna, like, if Roman's really good with an armbar, guess what? We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna figure out how to stop it, and like the little things. So man, we practiced, and he had his village at Lake Gibson, Coach Brandt, Coach Walker, and like he had a whole village at Lake Gibson, and in my garage, and we really prepared to beat him. We really did.
So did you guys combine as like Team Lowe to come up with that game plan, or was it just you watching the film coming up with the game plan, or was it just Walker coming up, or did you all three meet and say, all right, we got to figure this out?
It was everybody. It was
happen?
everybody. And who else was his biggest advocate and who really came up with the game plan was Gabby Tedesco.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about
like everything. Like she's his number one advocate. She's like, hey, Roman will grab your wrist this way. You got to do it this way. You can't shoot from outside on Roman because he's got a good down block. You got to be able to come in close. It wasn't just stopping his armbar. Man, like they would go over film. And I think, Gabby, I don't know if you can hear me, but I feel like that win, Elijah beating Roman Lerner in the state finals was like bigger than her win because she wanted that so bad,
I
so
bet.
bad. And they're both like Elijah's watching Gabby wrestle just a little bit before he went on the mat, right there in the state finals. And like, I don't know, it was so special. So preparing was a village. It was between Coach Walker, Coach Brandt, everybody in that wrestling room, and 100% Gabby Tedesco. They're all preparing for that because that was his biggest competition.
Mm-hmm.
That was his
That
biggest
was a
competition.
huge match. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but Elijah won that match 4-2 or 5-3, or
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it
it
was
was
three
like four
points,
to
right?
two. Yeah.
4-2. Yeah, that's what I thought. So when the match is over, the whistle blew, they raise Elijah's hand. What's going through your head, man? What's going through your body at that point?
That was like I'm up in the stands and I'm always like trying to get the best seat in the house because I tell you what, when my boys are wrestling, I'm recording it. I'm
Yeah,
recording it and I'm right there. So I'm up in the stands and I don't know if I can say this on record, but Coach or Principal Van, he uh he gave me the credentials to get on the floor.
I
He said,
love it.
"Hey," he goes, "Mr. Lowe, take these." And I put them on my neck, and I'm bouncing. I'm hurtling over the guardrail, and I'm on the floor like within seconds. And like I'm like, this is my boy out here wrestling in the state finals. Just it's a way better feeling than me winning it. Way better. And
Of
like
course.
he's wrestling him tough. It's a close match. Um, like he gets a takedown. I'm like, man, everything we've been training for, everything we've been preparing for, it's happening right here. So it's almost like surreal. And as everything's going on, I turn around and like I'm on the floor, I'm in the corner by Coach Walker. I'm like 10 feet away from Coach Walker and Coach Brent. And I turn around and I see my village. I see the Lake Gibson village, and they're like foam's coming out of their mouth. They're like screaming, and I can feel everybody in the arena saying, "Let's go, Eli! Let's go!
It
Let's
was
go!"
so
And like I
loud,
don't know these people, but I
right?
felt like everybody is cheering my boy on.
They were.
Everybody's screaming for my boy, and I turn around and I almost like it was the best feeling I've ever felt. And then him coming off that mat, and he won. I said, and the first thing that stuck in my mind is, "My boy's a state champion. My boy's a state champion." And he runs over, he collapses in Coach Walker's arms, and Coach Brant slaps him in the head and comes and gives me a hug. And I said, man, like, it's a good feeling. And I told Elijah, I said, man, I said, what you got to do, man? I said, Mama sees all the ugly. Mama sees like the missed meals and the running on the treadmill in the garage. And I get the pictures with my boy. And I said, go up there, go in those stands and go give that damn mama a hug. Go give her a hug and tell her how much you love her because
Hmm.
she was just a part of this journey as anybody. So
Big time.
he like pushed everybody out of the way. He pushed like Principal Van out of the way, and he's got a whole entourage right behind him. And he runs up those stairs and he gives that mama, man, he gave her a big old hug, and it made her world. It
Yeah,
made her world because like it was her journey too. That's her boy. That's
yeah.
her boy. And I
Yep,
think that was like it's a tearjerker, man. I know you've seen the video,
it
but
is.
it like in like real life, I don't even know how to explain it. But it was literally the most epic moment of my entire life.
Would you say it's one of the greatest nights of your life?
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's
yep,
like I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it, you know?
exactly.
And then like when Isaac gets there, because Isaac will
Oh, yeah.
get there. I'm
Hmm.
like I'm living the dream. I am, man. And I don't, and
Exactly.
I'm not that dad who like pushes these guys. I'm not. I promise you, Ricky. I promise you. You can ask Elijah. You can ask Isaac or Gabby. I'm not out there like you got to do this. You got to do that. I'm just a big fan.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's the huge difference, man. First of all, they know that. Second of all, they feed off of that. And the fact that you're not pushing them and forcing them and screaming and yelling, that's a beautiful thing, man. And it just all fell together. I do want to mention one thing. You mentioned that you heard the entire crowd, let's go, Elijah. And I really do believe this. I don't think that entire arena was rooting against Roman Lermer. I think they were rooting for Elijah because he's such a humble, likable kid, the whole story behind it. And people love to see an underdog win. And he was the underdog.
He was.
So nothing against Roman. He's a great wrestler and he's got a ton of fans. But I just think on that night, everybody kind of felt it. Everybody kind of knew what was going on there. And it just brought everybody together. It was the coolest thing that I've experienced in a very long time. So it's a compliment to Elijah that happened. He's just a good, humble kid. And I got to commend you and his mom for raising such a wonderful young man. And real quick, before I send you backstage to bring on a surprise guest, I just want to ask you this. I know you have a really good connection with God, as I do as well. How important is that to your family and to wrestling?
It's the most important, man. I didn't grow up in a church, and I didn't had the best upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was off in college, I guess I was just a kid, man. I was just a kid, and I was just doing a bunch of dumb stuff, getting in trouble, almost getting sent back home, just making a whole bunch of wrong choices.
Yeah.
And I'm saying wrong choices is an understatement. It's times 1,000. And I remember sitting in the office with my head coach up there in college. He's like, Joe, you got to pack your bags. You got to go back home. I don't know what else to tell you. You got to go. So here I am. I got a girl, and she's pregnant, and Elijah, and I'm making all these wrong choices. And I honestly, it's a little testimony. I haven't told a whole lot of people this, but I heard the voice of God tell me I got to do something different. So I started walking to a church up the road from where I wrestled when I went to school, and it was called Clifton Road Baptist Church. And I never went to church before. I get here, and I'm like, it felt good. I don't even know how to explain it. It felt good. I was like, man, this is kind of cool, So then I bring her. I brought Rachel, my wife, and she goes, and we get saved together. This is 18 years ago. We get saved together. I'm bringing my teammates next. So my teammates, man, they win Pan Am games. They're tackling frat boys through walls at frat parties and just hammers, man. They're hammers. And now they're praising Jesus and throwing their hands up high, praising Jesus. I'm like, well, look at this. And wow. Ever since that, I didn't 100% change my ways, but we really started taking our kids to church, and every Sunday, Gabby goes to church with us every single week. She has for years, every single week. And we, and Mama, Rachel, man, she'll do Bible study with them. Today, all the time. And they'll engage, and they'll hey, she'll ask questions, and they'll go back and forth, and there's good dialogue. But we put Jesus Christ at the top of this family, and no matter what we do, and she's the head honcho. Well, we don't wrestle on Sundays. We go to church. She teaches the Bible study class at church. Everything we do revolves around church and not around wrestling. Today, now it's today, and it's we pray together, but everything, and it's a lifestyle, and I love it.
I was just going to say, it is a lifestyle for you guys, and that's just absolutely amazing. I got the chills right now. All right, so we're going to send you backstage real quick. We're going to bring another guest on, and we might have another guest after that. We'll see what happens, but thank you for talking. We'll see you in just a little bit. We're going to bring you back, but we're going to send you backstage now to bring our next guest on. All All right, so we got two special guests here. We've got Elijah Lowe, we've got Gabby Tedesco, both state champions. So, guys, let me start with this. I know you guys are a couple. When did that start and how did it start? Who liked who first? Tell the truth.
Um, so we started dating my like going into our sophomore year, and I had a crush on him when I first started wrestling. And then nothing really happened, and then we started talking more and more every day, and then we started dating going into our sophomore year.
Okay, so you were kind of crushing on him first. Now, did he know that at the time? Like, did you make it known, or you were like real hush hush about it?
No, he knew several times.
So, Elijah, when you first realized that Gabby Tedesco, your teammate, kind of had a crush on you, what were you thinking?
Well, first off, I'm kind of awkward, so I didn't initially. I did kind of know, but I put it off. Kind of, I was like, I did like a classic old excuse. So I got to focus on wrestling and all that. But then I started catching feelings too, and then we started dating or something.
I love it. I love it. Now, it's a real exciting time in your life because you're getting ready to go to college, both of you actually, and you're going away to different places. So, what it like? How do you prepare for that? Like, did you guys sit down and talk about that? Like, how are you guys going to handle that to make sure that everything kind of stays the same?
So after I like when I first started going on all of my visits, I kind of scheduled them like when I first started my senior year. So I was going on visits in like October and like around that time in the fall. And when I made my commitment to McKendree, I kind of figured like, yeah, McKendree was an option for him, but I knew there was something else out there for him. So as soon as I made the commitment, I had like a gut feeling that he wasn't going to be going to the same school as me, and then I went on the visit with him to UTC, and it was amazing, and I could just picture Eli going there.
Yeah.
So after that, I think we kind of like figured out like, we're going to have to do this long distance, and it's going to be hard, but I think that we've been through like so much already, like with him cutting so much weight, and that was like one of the biggest struggles in our relationship. So I think a little distance won't really do anything. It's just gonna, strengthen our relationship and show like growth, and we'll be able to see each other, like surprise each other. So that'll be
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, it could actually be a good thing. You guys will appreciate each other that much more, and then when you get to be together, it'll be that much more special. So you said Elijah cutting so much weight was one of the big things in your relationship. I'm going to ask you, Elijah, why was that? Well, how did that affect the relationship?
It mainly affected my mood. I was always tired,
Yeah,
and I didn't really want to do anything. Sometimes I catch an attitude. It wasn't just to Gabby, but like sometimes to my family or my friends and stuff. It wasn't really a way to live, but like at the same time, that's how wrestling is.
yeah,
And it made us stronger in the sense that even if we go through arguments and stuff, even if I'm cutting weight, we still got each other's backs and we understand how we feel. We're both wrestlers and we know how that is.
yeah.
And it just made us stronger.
Yeah, that's got to be the good thing, having a girlfriend that actually wrestles as well to understand the mood swings, the weight cutting, what it requires to become elite level. So that's an awesome thing that you had her for that. And it's an awesome thing for her to have you as well. Now, when I was talking with Joe, Gabby, he had mentioned that you were a huge part of Elijah winning his state title. So, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what did him winning a state title mean to you, and how important was it to you for him to get that victory in the state finals?
I feel like a lot of people don't really see what wrestlers put in behind the scenes. And for me, I was right there along with Elijah going through everything with him. So even the year before when he took third, I was just seeing like every single thing he put in, and he was outworking almost anyone he wrestles. But he's a very mental wrestler. And so this year, when I just seen him start growing and growing and growing, I was just getting even more excited for him. It meant a lot to see that everything that he was doing behind the scenes and in the background, paid off in the end, and it was a very special moment because I feel like just going out on top, like, is probably the best feeling in the whole entire world. Like, no one expected him to beat Lermer, but I knew he was going to beat Lermer. I was sitting down, we were both watching film. I was watching film on the people I had to wrestle, and then when he was watching film on the people he had to wrestle, I was just watching his matches and seeing this little thing and every single match, and I was just telling him, oh, well, maybe if we try this. And even before the match, like, when I would go wrestle, I would, like, get my match over with in states, and then I'd go, like, sprinting to the mat, waiting for him to go wrestle. It's just a really great feeling seeing, how excited he was, and, all the nights that he prayed, everything that he did to get to the point where he is. And I think it was a confident boost for him too, because he wasn't very confident in himself, and I really don't know why. But after he started beating, like, all these really good people, and I just see him just go jump levels, and I just wanted to wrestle just like him.
Yeah.
And so it was really great.
That's amazing, man. That's really crazy. So, Elijah, I was talking to your dad about that state finals match, and you had to wrestle a kid that you never beat before. Excuse me. I think he beat you 6 times over the years. You never beat him. At what point during your senior year did you tell yourself, or did the thought come into your mind that I think I can beat this kid? At what point did that happen?
I think just like what my dad said, it was like during the knockout tournament.
Yeah.
Because like mentally, I prepare. I'm like, what do I have to lose? I lost this kid so many times. Like, I just need to put points on the board, no matter if I win or lose.
Right.
Just try stuff, see what happens, and if it scores points, that's good. That's something I learn off of. That's something I need to use the next match. So after knockout, I had a plan, and I stuck to that plan, even though I was extremely nervous. But like right when I came to the match, I felt like I was prepared. Like,
Yeah.
I had a sense of urgency when I came to the mat, and I knew what to do. So,
Yeah. So those losses definitely taught you something. So, they always say a loss isn't just a loss. You're going to get a win somewhere out of that. Something good can come out of that win, and it certainly did for you. Winning state titles together, that had to be just an awesome thing. What was the feeling of actually being able to win it on the same night?
It was a really good feeling. I think it would have been a little challenging or, like, upsetting if one of us won it and the other one didn't, because we did basically everything together.
Yeah.
The extra work. We both were there on Sundays after church. We all, like, I think it was one of the greatest feelings ever, to see that all that work he put in actually paid off, and he was right there on top winning with me. Because a lot of people, I know they're just joking. They're like, oh, your girlfriend, she's just winning stuff and you're just out here. And I know I was just a little weird, but I get the joke, but I just like the feeling of him being right next to me on top of the podium.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%. I understand everything you just said. Elijah, you're going off to University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Division I program, SoCon Conference. What's the ultimate goal?
well, obviously be an NCAA champ, but I think I could accomplish that. I think you just have to have the right mind to do that. Also, NCAA dual team champs, like, that's another goal. Like, team is a big part of my career. Like, having a foundation like that, that's what I'm excited for. For us to upset some good teams, and I just want to be a part of that journey, just like with Lake Gibson.
What's the projected weight class for you? 33, 41?
I want to go 25, 33 area.
25, 33. Okay. What made you decide UTC? Well, let me take a step back. What schools were you considering? And then why UTC over those schools? So first, what schools were you considering?
Well, first off, I feel like recruiting was kind of hard for me. Like, I really haven't had that much recruitment, and UTC was really the only D1 school that reached out to me. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. It happened after knockout. They texted me, and they're saying how they see me wrestle and I had heart on the mat. So that's why they were recruiting me. It wasn't just like because of the wins, It was
Right.
just because the fight when I wrestle. And a couple D2 schools reached out to me, like Mercyhurst and McKendree
Hmm.
and stuff like that. North Central reached out to me, but it wasn't like a huge, like, it wasn't huge recruitment. Like, I had like maybe like 4 or 5 schools. But once I went to UTC and saw the family like structure, that's how I knew it was meant to be.
Yeah, that's good. So the SoCon conference, obviously, Big Ten is by far the toughest conference, but listen, D1 is D1. There's no easy matches at all. Every single match for you there is going to be like a state title match. I'm sure you already know that. Um, what's the, how do I put this? So if you go and you don't have the success that you wanted right off the bat, are you prepared for that?
I felt like I dealt with that a lot in my career since freshman year going up to senior year. And I feel like just like D1, I'm going to do the same thing. If I lose a lot and stuff, I'm going to change, I'm going to evaluate what I'm doing wrong and change that and train harder and do what's right, do what the other D1 athletes are doing. I feel like
Yeah.
that's going to level up my game.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I asked you that for a reason because I knew you were going to say that. You just got to do exactly what you did in high school. You just keep progressing, studying the tape, keep wrestling hard. Um, who was your main drilling partner your senior year to get you ready to become a state champion? Who would you credit that success to?
Well, I had a few. So during the summer going into senior year, I had Gabby, like we're training like a decent amount, like almost every day. Then like during season, I had to get a bigger training partner to like match my weight, strength.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabby had a lot of skills, so she taught me a lot. But I had Christian Fretwell. He was one of my main partners. I had Jerry Ware. I had Noah Gregory. Those were like the top 3 partners I had like during the season.
Awesome. So Noah Gregory, he transferred in, so he was a kind of a newer guy to the Lake Gibson program. I think last year was his first year, right?
Yeah,
So I definitely think that you helped him as much, if not more, than he helped you because he's really turning it on, man. Noah
yeah.
Gregory, I got him in the state rankings. I'm looking for him to do some big things, and I really do believe in my heart that he's going to be on the podium this year. And I would venture to say probably top three, man. What do you think? Do you think he can do that?
Yeah, I think he's a hammer, and he's like been improving so much since he first started
Yeah,
training like with me, like and everyone in the room. I think the Lee Gibson wrestling room like helped him out a lot mentally, and I feel like he's a much stronger wrestler. I think he could definitely. I think he could contend for a state title, in my
yeah,
opinion. I think he has like all the mental awareness to do that and all the strength. He just needs to keep on improving, even if he has a few losses. I think he
sure.
just needs to keep on improving after that, like keep being better. Because right now he's very hungry to wrestle, and I think he's going to do great this season.
I do too. I agree with you on that. I really do believe top three is where he'll be, but we'll see. So, you hear a lot of these different programs saying, it's different here. It's a different culture. We're a family. And you hear that a lot from a lot of programs. But when I ask you, what's different about Lake Gibson's wrestling program? What would you tell an outsider if they asked you that? Gabby, you answer first, and then Elijah, I'll let you answer.
Um, I just feel like Lake Gibson is just everyone says that, of course, like their room is a family room, all of that. But I just feel like as the moment that you step in the room, like you can sense the family and everyone like in practice, whether it's like not a good practice day for you and say you're just a little like slow that day, every single person in the room, they will yell at you to make you better. But as soon as you step off the mat, they talk to you like nothing happened. And I think that's like a lot of people don't understand that, and that builds you mentally. And I just feel like they not only does Lake Gibson build you mentally, but they build you physically as well. So of course, if you say me, I came in as a freshman wanting to wrestle, and I of course didn't do that good. I lost like every match. I think I only won like 2 matches out of the whole time that I was wrestling. And I didn't wrestle the full year. And I started a little late in my freshman year. But then every single day, I just had Walker get on me, my teammates get on me. No one's allowed to be lazy in the room. If you're being lazy, you get called out. And I think that makes a family. And not many people will understand that feeling. And if they come in the room and they get treated that way, I feel like they won't understand that it builds you mentally. But I feel like that right there is a family when people are able to call you out and make you better.
Awesome. Elijah, what do you think the reason is that Lake Gibson has that family culture going on? What makes it that way?
I think, like Gabby said, I think it's the accountability aspect. It's not like okay, you tried your best, but we actually push you to try your best. We have to push you like to the point where you don't want to come to practice anymore. But at the same time, we build them up through that. We don't we don't like try to be mean on purpose, but we build each other up while breaking them down to
Mhm.
like build that habit of like mental awareness, like the mental ability on the mat. um that's what helped me a lot because I'm a very mental wrestler, like Gabby said, and that helped me win the big matches when it came down to it. And I think like after we have like state duels or something like that and we win a state title, we all celebrate and go out to eat and we're all happy and stuff, but it's back to work the next day. And like that's the thing in Lake Gibson wrestling room, like we always train hard and we always celebrate in the big moments, but it's back to work.
Yeah. So what does Coach Walker mean to you?
I think he means like everything to me. During high school and middle school, I started in 7th grade, and he instilled that mindset into me. He was like, in middle school, he's like, it's not going to be easy like this in middle school. Just wait till high school. And high school changed my whole experience. Like in middle school, like, oh, I was a 2-time county champ. I started in 7th grade. Oh, that's so cool. But then freshman year, oh, I have to go against all these good kids. Like the first dual tournament, I have like Nardini, Washburn, like Brett Millard, like all these really good kids. And
Mhm.
like I was getting my tail whooped. Like uh, another D1 athlete from Presbyterian College, he was whooping on me too. And Coach Walk just like told me to push past that and don't look at the rankings. Like just become a better wrestler and
Mhm.
be more mentally strong.
Yeah, for sure. What's the one thing if you had to pick one thing that's different about Walker from all the other coaches that you've ever seen or known, what would that one thing be?
He
What
doesn't put up with
separates him?
laziness.
Yeah. All no coaches put up with laziness.
Yeah.
Other than that, what would you say would be the one thing that separates Walker from the rest of the pack?
I feel like he isn't afraid to say what is on his mind. Like he won't
Okay.
baby you or coddle you or anything like that. He says that to every wrestler when you first step on the mat or anything. Even if it seems like a little harsh at first, but you have to know where he's coming from, and I feel like that made everyone better in the wrestling room.
Yeah, and I'm sure you all know that, you know, he's going to hug you and tell you he loves you, but if you need it, he's going to put his foot in your butt. But I feel that you guys, just from what you're telling me, know that that's coming from a place of love, that he just wants the best for you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. All right, guys, thank you so much. We're going to let's bring back Elijah's dad, Joe. Let's get him on here before we close out. There he is. Awesome. So, just a couple of things while I have you guys all together. Gabby, I know you've been dating Elijah for a while, and I'm sure you're at the Lowe residence quite often. Tell me what the Lowe family means to you.
Well, I was kind of nervous at first. For a while, I did not go over to Elijah's house for like maybe like 4 or 5 months when we were dating. I did not go over his house. But as soon as I met his family, they welcomed me with open arms and they just felt like another family to me. And no matter what, no matter if me and Elijah were arguing and his parents would text me, "Hey, you want some steak?" I would drive my car right over to their house they just mean so much to me. Like, and I just love seeing their family connect with my family. It makes me feel like no matter what, they'll always have my family's back and we'll always have their back.
That's amazing. So the two families, they get along really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. So Joe, this one's for you. So obviously, as you mentioned, as when we were talking, you were a very young father. You also, your wife of 18 years now, you were together back then. What would you tell Elijah and Gabby as far as, being, in a really strong relationship at such a young age? What would you tell them to make sure that they can last for 18 years? What would your advice be? They're both going off to different colleges. What do you say to them?
Well, they both come from strong families. Like Gabby's family is amazing. They like her parents. They've been married 21 years, and they had kids young too. So she comes from a family that is super similar to ours. So like I think like they're set up for greatness. Always be there for each other no matter what, Gabby. I know you're right there listening, and Elijah, just be committed to each other. Her dad says Elijah is not allowed to drop a ring until after they graduate. So school is definitely the number one priority. So as soon as they walk across that stage, and they're super committed to each other, and they make it happen, they can definitely build a wonderful life together. I see it because, man, Gabby's a daughter to me, so I love her dearly, and I know Elijah does too. I just, I'm really thankful to have Gabby in our lives, and I know my wife Rachel, she loves her dearly too. So, my biggest words of advice is just like in wrestling, just stay committed, work hard
Yeah,
at it, work hard, and always put Jesus first. And if you do that, put Jesus first, work hard. You can have a storybook just like I'm having right now.
absolutely. That's amazing advice. You're an awesome father. Elijah, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Obviously, it's very easy to see as an outsider looking in that you've got an incredibly close relationship with your dad. He does everything with you, from the training to just everything, to church to everything. He's just a great father, from what I can see. What does that mean to you? How important was having that closeness with your dad? Because obviously, not every kid has that. I think you're really blessed, but what does it mean to you?
It means almost everything to me. He made me stronger in my faith. He made me have motivations for wrestling. He gave me like goals to, like, in any sport that you do, go 100% at it. And he never pushed me to do wrestling, but like you said, he's been my number one fan, and I feel like that's been the biggest motivation for me in wrestling.
Yeah. What did it mean to you to be able to hand him that state medal, that gold medal? You did it. You won everything. You worked hard, all those long hours in the garage, the sweating, the weight cutting, the beating up on each other. And you finally won it. And you got to say, Dad, I'm a state champ. What did that mean to you?
It kind of made me want to cry in a sense.
Of
Like, it
course.
felt so unreal. Like, when I handed him that state title, like he won back in Lakeland, like it was just crazy. It was like a father and son duo.
I got to tell you, man, he mentioned this. I don't know if you heard it, but your state title meant so much more to him than his state title. And one day when you have a son and he wins a state title, you're going to think back to this podcast and you say, Ricky Cheese was right. He is right. So, Gabby, what's your plans for college? I know where you're going, but what are you going to major in? What's the ultimate goal? What do you want to be?
So I was kind of hoping to major in early childhood education, but my school only has elementary education. And I actually already graduated with my AA. So I'm going to college, and hopefully, the first 2 years, I'll finish my bachelor's. And then I'm going to get my master's degree for the next like the third and fourth year, I'll get my master's degree, and I'll get that in business. So I'm going to try to be a daycare owner and open up my own business and do all of that.
Nice. Elijah, you got a brainiac for a girlfriend, man. How do you keep up with that?
She actually pushes me in school. Like, she made me get like a 4.4 GPA. I had a bad GPA freshman year. It was like,
Girls
well,
don't like dumb guys.
yeah, well, not really terrible, but like she pushed me to do great. I had like a 3.7 freshman year, and like by senior year I had a 4.4. I have like over 50 credits from like dual enrollment classes for college. Almost have my AA degree, everything, and I feel like she pushed me to that level. And like academically, I think she put academics more than wrestling in a sense. Same with her parents; they pushed me too.
Damn, Gabby, 3.7 wasn't good enough for you?
My dad always says he wants that 4.0 and higher.
That's awesome, man. You pushed him in everything. Wrestling, academics, and life. Dude, you got a good girlfriend. You're lucky. So what are you going to major in and what do you want to become?
Well, I'm gonna do nursing probably, and I want to be like a travel nurse, probably in prenatal care and stuff like that, working with babies.
My wife's a nurse. That's a great job. And travel nurses, big money now.
Yep.
That's an amazing career, man. And I know you're going to succeed because that's what the Lows do. They put their mind to it and they succeed. Guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I know you guys are busy and there's a million podcasts that you could have went on and you said yes to me. So that really means a lot to me. I'm going to be rooting for both of you. There's not a doubt in my mind that you'll both be very successful. Joe, thank you so much. Number one, for raising such a great young man and being a part of this young lady's life. I'm sure she loves you as much as you love her. But thank you guys for coming on the show. And as usual, if you need anything at all, please just get a hold of me. I'll do anything I can for all of you guys. Hey guys, Ricky Cheese here. Thanks for listening to the show. Remember, you can watch Grinding for Greatness on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the GFG YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment on your favorite episode and who you'd like to see next on the show. I'll see y'all soon on the next episode of Grinding for Greatness.